Ayan. Okay. Ayan. So, review kasi. Ayan. So, sorry for that. Okay. So, thank you for reminding me, I mean, no? Ayan. So, ayan. So, going back to what I was saying, no, let us now apply our definitions of molarity, okay, of molarity in this particular problems, okay. So normally when you prepare a molar solution, okay, or any molar solution of any substance, you weigh an amount of the solute and dissolve it in a small amount of the solvent first, okay. Yeah, now in this problem, you need to prepare 500 milliliters of the solution. So most commonly, what you will do is you will first dissolve the weighed amount of the solute using a smaller than or a less than 500 milliliter of the solvent. Okay, so usually it's half. Okay, yeah, so you dissolve it in a suitable container. Okay, because it's difficult to dissolve or to transfer a solid. Okay, in a volumetric flask, we don't normally use a volumetric flask to initially dissolve the solute. Okay, so normally we use a beaker to dissolve the solute. Okay, yeah. So you transfer this amount of the solute to a beaker and then put about 200 to 250 milliliters of the solvent, which in this case is ethanol. Ayan. You dissolve it completely. Okay? And then after you dissolve the solute completely in the less than the needed amount of the solvent, you transfer it to the volumetric flask. Okay, why the volumetric flask? It is because you're asked to prepare an exact amount of the solution. Okay, a beaker is not intended to measure; it is only intended to contain. Okay, and so the best option for you is to use a volumetric flask. Okay, because what you will do is you will simply add enough quantity of the solvent to make 500 milliliters of the solution. We don't actually, okay, put 500 milliliters of the solvent. Remember that this particular amount of the solute may occupy a certain volume. So you don't put 500 milliliters of the solvent to the solute. Okay? Yan. Kasi even your solute will occupy space, it will have a volume. Okay? So what we normally do is we only dilute the solution to a mark. Okay? To the volume that is stated in the problem. Okay? Yan. So that's why in this diagram, you only add a sufficient quantity of the solvent to the mark, which will indicate that you have already prepared 500 milliliters of the solution. Now, how are we going to compute the molarity of this particular solution? Okay, remember our formula for molarity is the number of moles per liter, the number of moles of the solute per liter of the solution. The number of moles is determined as as the weight of the solute divided by its molecular weight divided by the volume of the solution in liters. Okay, now the weight of the solute is 10 grams. The molecular weight of the solute is 165.87 grams per mole. And the volume of the solution in liter is zero point 0.5 liter. Okay? 500 milliliters are equivalent to 0.5 liter. Okay? So we divide 10 by 165.87 divided by zero point 0.5, we get 0.12 molar. Ayan. So this is now the molarity of the cobaltous chloride solution. Okay, 0.12 molar. Ayan. Now another example is this, no? A solution contains 90 grams of ammonium chromate in enough water to give a final volume exactly 250 milliliters. What is the molar concentration of ammonium chromate given its molecular weight, which is 252.07 grams per mole? Ayan, so just like before, okay, just like what I mentioned before, you weigh the amount of the solute that is needed. Yan. You transfer it to a suitable container. In this case, nilagay niya sa volumetric flask, but this is not recommended because of the narrow mouth of the volumetric flask. It's difficult to transfer any solid into it. Okay, so it's better to use a beaker. No, yan. And then transfer a small amount muna, no, a small amount of the solvent, and then fill it to volume. Transfer a small amount of the solvent, dissolve it, transfer it to the volumetric flask, and then fill it to the volume. Okay? Now, what is being shown in this diagram is that you may not, if you use, let's say, a graduated cylinder to measure the volume of your solvent, for example, dito, nag-measure siya ng 250 milliliters of the solvent, okay? Upon dilution of the solution, okay, containing ammonium chromate crystals, meron pa raw remaining na 45 milliliters. Ano yung ibig sabihin nun? The weighed amount of ammonium dichromate could actually occupy a volume that is equivalent to about 45 milliliters. Okay? Although, another reason could be because of the difference in the calibration between the volumetric flask and the graduated cylinder. Remember, that more accurate determinations can be more accurate volumes can be observed in a volumetric flask rather than in a graduated cylinder. Okay? Yeah, so dalawa yung dahilan but why you have a remaining solvent here. One is that is probably equivalent to the volume that is occupied by the solute. Okay? Or number two, that could probably be due to the difference in the calibration of the volume of the volumetric flask, which is more accurate, and the graduated cylinder. So what's the lesson to be learned here? Okay? Whenever you prepare a solution, do not add the amount, the volume of the same volume of the solution. Do not add an amount of the solvent that is the same as the volume of the solution. Okay? When you are asked to prepare 250 milliliters of a solution, do not add 250 milliliters of the solvent. Okay? Always remember that your solute may occupy a certain volume itself. Okay? And because of the difference in the calibration in the instruments that you will use, you will definitely not be able to use up all those amounts of the solvent. Okay? Yeah, so now let us utilize our formula again to determine the molarity of the ammonium chromate solution that was prepared by dissolving 90 grams of the ammonium chromate with a molecular weight that is equivalent to 252.07 grams per mole in 250 milliliters of the solution or 0.25 liter. Okay? Yeah, so that is 90 divided by 252.07 divided by 0.25, and that's equal to 1.43 molar. Okay? Now remember that the molar unit is the same as moles per liter. Okay? So this will be our answer. Okay? Now, those two examples are some examples of what we call stock solutions. Okay. What are these stock solutions? Stock solutions are basically solutions containing a higher concentration of the active ingredient, such as the drug that you incorporate in the solution, or any of the inactive components or the excipients in the solution. Okay, so the concentration of the stock solution is always higher, and it is also known. Okay, yeah. So why do we call it a stock solution? We call it a stock solution because it is the solution from where we get an aliquot. Remember this terminology, the aliquot. Okay, yan. This is the solution from where we take an aliquot to represent a certain amount or quantity of the solute. Okay, and that aliquot can be diluted further. Okay, to produce diluted solutions. Okay, from the stock solution. Let's say I have a 10 molar stock solution. What will I do to prepare a 1 molar solution of the same substance? Okay. Now notice that the factor between these two is zero point 0.1. It's 1:10. Okay. Or I will make a solution that is 10 times more diluted than the stock solution. Okay. So what I can do is I can simply get, let's say, 10 milliliters of the stock solution and then dilute it, no to a certain volume to make 100 milliliters. Okay, the factor between 100 milliliters and 10 milliliters is also 10, or 1 is to 10, 1 is to 10, 1 is to 10. Okay, so by getting 10 milliliters of 10 molar stock solution and diluting it to 100 milliliters, I will actually get a 1 molar solution of the same components. Okay. Normally, we prepare stock solutions because we want to make it easier to prepare more diluted solutions of the same substance. Okay. Later on in your pharmacy life, you will be using this. No, this is a very important notion that you need to remember. Um, if you want to prepare solutions rapidly, okay, it's almost always better to use a stock solution or to prepare a stock solution and just get aliquots from the stock solution and dilute it to whatever needed concentration uh, for whatever purpose, okay, that you need the solution for. Okay. Ayan. Now, what is the relationship between volume and concentration? Okay. Let us look at this diagram. So before that, nasa kabilang slide pala. Ayan, so before that, let me discuss to you how are we going to prepare diluted preparations. You can add a diluent that is compatible with the vehicle of the original product or the stock solution. Okay, so for example, your stock solution is aqueous. Most likely, you will dilute it with water. Okay, if the stock solution is hydroalcoholic, okay, meaning to say the solvent that you use is a mixture of water and alcohol, then the diluent that you will use is also a mixture of alcohol and water. Okay, you cannot always use water only or alcohol only if the stock solution is hydroalcoholic, because the solubility of the substance, okay, may not be that good in either water only or alcohol only. Okay, if you use pure water or pure alcohol, the crystals of your solute may precipitate out from the solution. Okay, because of the inappropriate na solubility. Okay, and so you need also to consider the solubility of your solute. That's why you need to use a diluent that is compatible with the stock solution or the original product. Now, let's say that the original product is ethanolic, no? Meaning to say its solvent is ethanol. Most commonly, you will dilute it with ethanol as well. Okay, and because when you use water, the solute may not be that soluble in water. So the solute will simply crystallize out of the solution. Okay. Another way by which you can dilute pharmaceutical preparations is to um, perform admixture, meaning to say you simply mix or incorporate um, the aliquot, a certain portion of the mixture or solution with a similar preparation of lesser strength. Okay. So later on, we will be discussing how to perform admixtures. Okay. For example, I would like to prepare a 7.5% by weight, or 7.5% weight in weight mixture of an ointment using 5% weight in weight and 10% weight in weight ointment That's an example of an admixture. Now, how do we perform concentration? Okay. Now, this is less commonly performed now, no? Concentration or strengthening of pharmaceutical preparations. But sometimes it may be needed for you to increase the strength of or the amount of the solute in your solution. Okay. One is by obviously adding an active ingredient, okay, or the desired ingredient. Just like in one of the questions that was asked before, about clindamycin. Okay, and so you added an amount of the active ingredient to increase the concentration of the solute in the solution. That's one. Second is by admixture, similar to the previous one, but this time around, you will be using a higher strength of the active ingredient, obviously, no? Let's say you only have 5% weight in weight uh, solution of a particular solute and you want to increase its concentration, you can add 10% weight in weight solution to increase its concentration. And the last one is the rarest of them all, no? Evaporation of the liquid vehicle. Now, there are a couple of things that you need to remember here. The vehicle or the solvent, ayan, should be volatile. Okay? Ayan. If the solvent is not volatile, like water, okay, yung water kasi medyo mataas yung kanyang boiling point, 100 degrees Celsius. You need to consider also the stability of your solute. Okay? Now, if your solute decomposes at temperatures equal to 100 degrees Celsius or greater than 100 degrees Celsius, and let's say the solute is in water, you cannot do evaporation. Okay? Otherwise, your solute will be degraded by the time that you have evaporated a certain portion of the solvent. Okay? Ayan. So, normally, ginagamit yung evaporation of the liquid solvent when the solvent or the vehicle is volatile such as alcohols. Okay? Yan kasi alcohols we can actually volatilize them at temperatures of about 60 degrees Celsius or lower. Okay? Um, Now it is mostly okay for a lot of solutes, no? Ayan. Even mga natural products or organic compounds, they do not decompose easily at that very low temperature. Of course, if let's say we have ether or other more volatile solvents, it's a lot better. Okay. And so now let us tackle the relationship between strength and the total quantity. Okay. Now remember that let's say C is the concentration or the strength of the solution. Okay. And then let's say that Q is the quantity of that solution. Okay? The quantity of the solution may be the total volume of the solution. It may be the volume of an aliquot of the solution, etc. No, it can also be the weight, okay, of the solid solution or the solid mixture. It can also be the weight of an aliquot or a fraction of the solid mixture. Okay, so that's our Q. Okay, so it can also be V or W. No? Ayan. So just to make it more universal, I will be using the symbol Q. Okay. Now, if I multiply the quantity, okay, by its concentration, what do I get? I will get the value A, which is the quantity or the amount of the solute present in this volume Q1 of the solution. Okay? Yan. Now, let's say I will add a certain volume to the Q1. Okay? Yan. So let's say this is Q1 and I will add a certain volume ito yung certain volume na yon, yan, certain volume of the solvent, okay, this in this case that's water, okay, so that the final volume becomes Q2, okay. What will be the amount of the solute contained in the solution? Will it vary? Okay. Take note that I did not do anything to the initial solution. Okay. Let's say the initial solution contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay. 6 particles of the solute. Okay. When I add water, those 6 particles will not change. Okay. This will remain a constant. Okay? It remains a constant, right? Yan. So dahil constant 'yan, okay? I can say that for whatever concentration of the final solution C2 in whatever quantity Q2, the amount of the solute is the same, A. Okay? Ayan. So pareho lang yung value ng A. Okay? Now, according sa math, I can combine these two equalities. So I now have C1 Q1 equals C2 Q2. Okay? That is your C1 V1 equals C2 V2. Okay? Yan. So what I can do next is I can now put this here and then this over here. Yan. Taking out C2 or Q2. Okay? Yan. So tanggalin natin yung ito, tatanggalin ko muna ito. Yan. So C1 equals 1 over Q1. Yan. And C over 1 na lang, mas maganda to. C2 times Q2, where C2 times Q2 is basically A. So C1 is equal to A over Q1. Ayan. So we can see here that the relationship between concentration and its quantity is inverse. Okay? Yeah, so just remember this. Okay? And so this is actually exemplified in this formula of the dilution concentration. Okay? So this is what we call the dilution concentration formula, which is very useful in many of your calculations. Or you can just simply say that the concentration is inversely proportional to its quantity. Okay? The greater the quantity, okay, or the greater the volume of the solution, okay, provided that we do not add or subtract the amount of the solute, okay, its concentration will decrease. Okay, so as we increase the volume of the solution, its concentration decreases as long as the amount of the solute remains constant. Okay, and so for example, yeah. For example, we have this problem before we end, and which is in the other slide. Okay, so what are some ways to solve problems involving altering of the product strength? One is by inverse proportion, and using this proportionality, as I mentioned before, C1 over C2 equals Q2 over Q1. By dilution or concentration formula, C1Q1 or C1V1 equals C2Q2. And, or by determining the quantity of the active ingredient or solute that is present or required and relating that quantity to the known or desired quantity of the preparation. So what do we mean by that? So let's say you are given a certain concentration of a solution and its volume. You first determine the A. Okay. Now, you will also be told to dilute the Q1 to a certain volume Q2. Okay. So basically what you are going to do is you will divide A by Q2 and this will give you the final concentration C2. Okay. So that's the third way of being able to perform alteration of concentration or product strength. Yeah, so let's take this one example before we end. And so aluminum acetate topical solution contains 5% weight in volume of aluminum acetate. When 100 milliliters are diluted to a liter, what will be the percent strength and the ratio strength of the resulting solution? Okay, and so remember that our dilution concentration formula states that C1 Q1 equals C2 Q2. Okay, what is C1? C1 is 5%. What is Q1? Q1 is 100 milliliters. Okay? Ayan. So, according to the problem, you use 100 milliliters of the 5% weight in volume solution of aluminum acetate and you diluted it to a quantity that is 1 liter or equivalent to 1,000 milliliters. Okay? Yeah, so what we don't know is the final concentration, C2. Okay? Ayan. Now, take note of a couple of things. No? We need to convert either the concentration or the quantity to the same denomination. Okay? In order for you to cancel them out. Okay? In this case, we have two values of the quantity, so they should have the same units. Okay? So we converted 1 liter to 1,000 milliliters so that we will be able to cancel out the unit milliliter. Now, there is only one percentage strength. Okay? Do we need to convert this decimally? No. Okay? And it will be a lot more confusing if you will convert this. Yes, you can, okay? But that is a step longer, okay, than this particular solution, okay? Why is it okay not to remove the percentage? Remember that when you cancel the milliliters, what will remain will be this unit, which is percentage. So it is not a problem to us. Okay, so let us rearrange the values. So we have 5% here, 100 milliliters here divided by 1,000 milliliters. Ayan, we cancel out milliliters. Cancel the two zeros, 5% divided by 10. This will be equal to 0.5%. So that's our final concentration in percent strength. Okay? It's a lot easy if you don't convert it to decimals. Okay? But if you do, it's okay, no? Ayan. So if you do, it will be like this. C2 is equal to 0.05, which is the decimal equivalent of 5%. Ayan. Times 100 milliliters divided by 1,000 milliliters. And you cancel this out. So you will have 0.005. Okay. Now this is not in percent. This is actually in grams per ml. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to still multiply this by 100. Okay. So C2 equals 0.005 grams per ml times 100. That will also give you the same answer, that is 0.5% weight in volume. Okay? Ayan. Now, another question that is asked is for you to convert this to a ratio strength. Okay? Now, because we have 0.5%, it means 0.5 gram of the solute are present in 100 milliliters of the solution. Okay? Now, remember that in ratio strength, normally it's 1 is to a certain number. Okay? Ayan. So, yan yung ratio strength natin. Okay? So, to convert the percentage to ratio strength, you simply do this proportionality. Okay? This will represent the ratio strength. Okay? 1 is to a certain value x. Okay? So, we determine the value of x. Okay? So, we now have 100 divided by 0.5. This will be equal to 200. So, therefore, the ratio strength is 1 is to 200. Now, if we will compute the percentage weight in volume of this, it will be 1 gram divided by 200 milliliters times 100. And that will be 1 times 100 divided by 200. That's also equal to 0.5% weight in volume. Okay? And so those are ways by which you can compute the percent strength and the ratio strength of a diluted solution. Now there's another way, okay? Remember that there is inverse proportionality between the concentration and the quantity of the solution, okay? Now, because we diluted the solution to a liter, okay, that's 10 times of the original aliquot, which is 100 milliliters, okay? This will be our stock solution. Okay? You had 100 milliliters of the stock solution, you diluted it to a liter. Okay? So 100 divided by 1,000 will give you 0.1. This is the factor that you will multiply to the concentration of the stock solution to get the concentration of the final solution, which is 0.5%. It only means to say that you diluted the stock solution 10 times. Okay? That's why your factor is 0.1. Okay? And so the dilution is 1 is to 10. So the factor is zero point 0.1. You multiply that factor to the original concentration that is 5%. So you get 0.5% weight in volume of aluminum acetate. Okay? Ayan. So I will end the discussion here because it's already time. Ayan. But I will invite you to answer the next problems. Okay? Um, that are already in your handouts, and we will discuss these in the following meeting. Okay. Yeah. So we'll just continue this discussion next meeting. Okay. So any questions so far before we end the class? Ayan. So any questions? Wala. Yeah, so actually, within the day, I think, no, again, I am just writing the in-module activities for this lesson module. I will be able to upload the lesson module for this, okay? Ayan, secret, my secret, all the solutions here are also in the lesson modules, okay? Ayan, so please pay attention to the lesson activity modules that I post, okay? They actually contain more details than what we discuss here in class, okay? I want you to be able to embody self-directed learning as well, no? I may point out some of the important things, okay, that you need to remember, okay? But the solutions are there in your lesson activity modules. So please read your lesson activity modules and answer your in-module activities for you to be able to practice solving problems involving all of these concepts that we are discussing. Okay. And so with that, we'll end the class. And so thank you so much, everyone, for first for